I said, oh my gosh, I would love it. And then he followed up, he called my cell phone, and I still have the message. I saved it on my voicemail. It's from like 7 years ago.
So cute.
And I tried to play it once at like a DragCon, and it was just like, rah, rah, rah. So you're not gonna hear it, but that's what happened. And that was on season, I think it was on season 6 or 7, and here we are, season 12. So it's
Can you believe
wonderful. Toddy?
My story is really strange. I was in the kitchen one day on a hoverboard, and I got a phone call from a number I did not recognize. And when I picked up the phone, it was RuPaul, and he says, "Where do you live? I'm coming to pick you up. We're going to lunch." And we went for lunch, and later on they called me to be on an episode of Drag Race that was a Wizard of Oz episode, and the rest is history.
I was a young girl living on the wrong side of the tracks. Rue drove by one day and said, "Get in the limo, darling," and I did, and now we're here. I met Rue on a red carpet years and years and years ago. I've been watching since season 1. Anyone else? Hello? I loved this show. And then they brought me on in like season 4 to do Snatch Game. Remember Pink and White Gingham? I was there. And then they brought me back again right around the same time with Carson. And then they just sort of said, "Do you never want to leave?" And we both just said, "No, we never ever want to leave."
And we won't, we just keep staying there in our dressing rooms. We've been squatters for 7 seasons.
We won the golden ticket, and it is as fun as it looks. Everybody.
Love that. I love history. So obviously, there's some metrics that usually the queens are judged on: charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. So what else are you looking at when you're critiquing and judging the girls on the main stage, on the runway? Yeah, tell us a little bit about what goes through your brain when you're, especially when you don't really know these girls as well yet. Like, what is a first impression? Like, when the first impression happens, what is going through your head?
I don't think you need to know them. I think you need to know what the criteria of the challenge is. That's how I judge them. So when I do know them, as exemplified in All Stars 2 with Adore, when I do know them, I know them more. So I know so much more what they can do and what they can bring. So it's kind of harder. I'm harder on the ones that I know and I'm friends with, because I know when they're sleeping on the job. Not that she was, because Adore is really freaking talented. But at the end of the day, I judge on the criteria of the challenge. Did they meet what they're supposed to meet? And then as you get to know them, you can then say, this isn't reading right for you. But in the beginning, it's really about the challenge. And if they delivered something different, I've been around drag since I was 17, and I'm a little older than 17, so I kind of
27.
Know that it's changed, and have I not seen that before? And when that happens, it's like groundbreaking for me to see stuff I haven't seen before. Like when Roxy did the wig reveal, we were gagging, that kind of stuff. Yeah. You?
I just, being on Drag Race is such an amazing opportunity, and I think, like Michelle said, we're just there to judge the criteria of the challenge of that particular day. And then I think all of us on the panel are always telling the queens, bring yourself to the challenge. I think that's when people really shine. Do, Roxy's version of Snatch Game. Do your version of Runway. And when you do that and you're prepared, that's when you usually do really well.
Yeah.
I look for people that I would want to see perform live. There are some people who I don't necessarily think execute every single challenge the best, but when I think of what would they do after the show, who would I want to pay to go see in a concert, who would fill up a club, those are the people that I love, and the people that when I'm doing their choreography, they say to me, that's not really my brand. I remember Sasha Velour saying, like, that's not the kind of drag queen I am, and she knew very clearly exactly what her brand was. Like, it was really cool to see that, and I love making choreography that fit her kooky, weird, out of the box kind of brand. So those are the people that I enjoy working with and collabing with on the show.
Okay, if I wasn't sitting up here, I'd be right there. So I judge from would I follow them on Instagram? Would I wait in line at their booth here at DragCon? Are they doing something that I think is brand new and worth buying a ticket for? Because I am the super fan, right? So that's the only way I can judge is, are they doing anything that I'm going to remember tomorrow when I wake up in the morning?
Love that.
That's it.
So what are some of the hardest parts about judging? Any grueling stories from filming or anything you want to share?
think it's difficult at all. I mean, we're honored to be doing this job. Obviously, I don't have a problem with full disclosure because I've said before, and I'll say it again, I'm about to go into a competition where I'm being critiqued, and I know that critiquing somebody helps them. If you're a real hard worker and you want to get better at what you do, no matter what it is, whether it's performing, working in an office, no matter what you do, if somebody can give me something to make me better at what I'm doing, I want it all. I want every single bit of it. It might hurt the tummy at first, but if you do it, you'll come back stronger the next time. So that's the way that I critique. So I don't find it difficult. Do you?
No, I mean, I think all of us come from a good place in that we want them to succeed.
Yeah, that's where it all comes
and
from.
we have to judge because somebody has to be a winner. So we have to be very honest and say, well, this person nailed 2 of the criteria, but they were terrible at the 3rd one. So they're going to score lower than the other person. We have to do that because someone has to be the winner that day. But ultimately, we love to give, I think, constructive criticism because we want them to succeed. We want every queen to be amazing.
Do you guys have any tips for taking constructive criticism?
Suck it up.
Yeah.
For taking it?
Yes.
No, don't do it. There's children,
No,
Carson.
I wasn't even going there.
Okay.
I wasn't going
I
there.
don't trust you.
Yes, you were.
No, I wasn't. Maybe I was going to go there for a split
bit.
second.
Yes, exactly. I know you.
But it just follows up to your thing. You have to be open to it. I think, these queens know that they're in a competition and they've seen the show and they know how it works. And if you're smart, you're going to take that moment. And yes, it may be annoying and you may think that we're wrong, and we could be. We're not, perfect. Michelle's always right.
Thank you.
And you use it because we're the same people that are going to be judging you the next time you come back.
Right.
So take that information and make use of it.
I also think a part of it is a lot of people go into the competition, big fish in a small pond from smaller cities, and they know how great they are, and they are all fabulous. But then you walk in the workroom and you see the other great ones, and you're like, oh shit, this is a little different than I thought it was going to be. So I think there's that too. So being open to critique is what life is all about. We should all be open to critique. I think it really takes you to the next level in life.
I agree.
Todrick Ross, any thoughts?
Well, I mean, Rue says that I always put a little lube on my critiques, you you compliment a little bit first and then gently give somebody the truth. But the real point of the critiques is, to echo them, is to nudge people towards greatness, right? They're already great when they get there. These girls are doing amazing things. So this is just the fine tuning, the splitting hairs that can get you to world domination, as you see around here with all these amazing girls.
I just feel like sometimes I'm too easy on them, which is crazy because I am the one that gets. I feel like I'm nicer than Michelle, but people are like.
Anybody's nicer than me.
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't know. I try to not judge them on things that they cannot change when they come the first time, because you can't bring something to the table that you didn't bring in your suitcase. But when they come back again and they're still doing the things that Michelle and Ross and Carson already told them not to do the first season, then I just have no mercy on them, because they should know, Vanjie, you can't wear any more leotards.
I thought after the 7th time she would listen.
So there have been so many legendary lip syncs over the years, but what's a song that you all would love to see lip sync on Drag Race?
Oh, that hasn't been done
That hasn't
yet?
been done yet.
You think we can remember what song?
I know what I want. I want them to sing Joyful, Joyful from Sister Act 2.
It's very
Or they should
spirited.
have a Disney version where they sing like Powerline, like a Goofy movie.
Oh my God.
That would be fun.
From the Goofy movie. I even know that.
Yeah. Or maybe an all Disney Snatch Game with all the queens. That would be awesome. I know that was not the question you asked.
Who's paying? Are you paying for the rights for that, Johnny?
Yeah, that could be a
Oh,
clearance
honey,
issue.
no.
But it would be really beat and really
So
funny.
fierce,
Worth
yeah.
it.
Ross, any song requests for the lip syncs?
I mean, God, Let's Get Physical. Have they done that? That'd be fun. I think the best drag song to do lip syncing to is New Attitude, but we did
Patti
that
LaBelle.
before.
We did,
Yeah.
I just got red lipstick on my face. Not me. Okay.
And so we've also seen so many great guest judges over the years. Was there a particular guest judge that you had great chemistry with that you would love to work with again? Yeah, who has left an impression on you all?
Ross is so excited about this.
Well, you know, my friend Lady Gaga was so good. Oh, that reminds me, I need to text her. If anybody has her number, could you give it to her? That was a next level moment for me.
Yeah, that was like a stratospheric like. And Ross told the best story yesterday from his new book, Name Drop.
Available for pre-order now.
Yay!
Yeah, don't forget to get. It's very good. It's very
Well,
good.
it's not very good. It's great, but I do appreciate
It's very
that.
good. But you should order it because he did a reading yesterday
I did.
and told the Lady Gaga story, and it was amazing. I love when we have like icons from like my past, like childhood.
Like the Joan
icons.
Van Arcs.
There was one day when I got to work and Olivia Newton-John was getting out of an
There you
SUV.
go.
I grew up like singing the soundtrack to Grease in the 4th grade, which was also my coming out story. She was there. I was like, "Oh my God, Liv, how you going? Great to see you. We're glad you're here." And she was like, "Who is this Australian woman talking to me?" And you get to sit next to that person all day. And I was like doing the whole thing all day long. And then by the end, I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess we're like great friends now. We should probably exchange information." And I believe she just went to immediately file a restraining order. But it was very fun. You get to sit with these people for a long time and you get to chit chat.
Yeah, true.
I know yours is Joel McHale.
Obviously. I've had loads of them, but I'm going to say my favorite has been these three sitting here, and that's why they're still here, and I love them all. Yeah.
We love you.
They're my family.
So sometimes when you all make criticisms or critiques of the queens that fans don't necessarily see eye to eye with, they will come for you in drones.
No, they will only come for me. They do not come for Ross Carson or Todrick. They come for me.
I feel
The
very
end.
come for on the internet. I just want to say that.
Right. And there was that time when the Philippines all hated me after Miss Universe. So they come for us in different ways.
Okay, fair enough, fair
Yeah.
But I'm good.
Do people come for you at all?
No, what are you?
He has
I
comments
love
to say
that for
about
you.
it. Well, how do you guys deal with all that sometimes visceral hate, and sometimes like can be kind of cutting with their comments? Do you have any like suggestions for people who might face out on social media?
You know, the sad thing is the majority, and I mean overwhelmingly, like 99% of those comments are from children. And when the whole Adore thing happened, the stuff that was being said to me was so offensive that I had to go into I have 2 teenage daughters. I collected them and said, "Girls, I'm going to show you these things. Promise me that you'll never speak to another human being like this. Promise me." You have to teach in that moment. And I mute, I block, I do all that, but it made me sad because when I would go in and check the Instagram, they were like 13 and they were private. And a lot of them would say blocked by Michelle Visage on this date, and it's like a calling card. It's very bizarre, this new culture. So it made me sad that these kids think that this is the way they need to be noticed, by spreading hate. Our community is already facing enough bullshit that we're turning amongst each other within. So it's really scary for me. So personally, it doesn't bother me because I'm 50 years old and I've grown up. But at the end of the day, what it does is open my mind to going, okay, I have a big mouth, I'm an ally, I'm a very loud advocate. I have to do more work because these kids are still spreading hate. So what we're doing is not loud enough or strong enough, so I have to work harder. That's kind of how I handle it. I handle it as a learning situation for me and a teaching situation for whoever needs to be taught.
And can you unblock me now?
No.
I once got cock blocked by Michelle Visage.
It's not done.
But on the flip side, there's plenty of fun things about the internet, obviously. So many of your reactions on the show have been turned into memes or reaction gifs. Carson, there's your jaw drop from the Tatiana Alyssa Edwards lip sync. Michelle, my personal favorite of you is It's a Piece of Fabric. whenever someone tries
That's Jinx's favorite. She'll constantly text at me with me going, "It's a piece of fabric." That's all she does.
So what's your guys' go-to Drag Race reaction gifs or memes that you love to, have on deck? Or of yourselves?
I don't have it. I love the one of you and I drinking and sipping
Oh, yeah,
tea.
we're right.
Michelle and I.
That's a funny one.
But I wish that I had a meme of one of my favorite moments in Drag Race history, and when Monet Exchange was doing the Nicki Minaj song and she was getting ready to do the fake death drop, and she did this and then said, no. That is one of my favorite moments.
Yeah, we lit up.
And that would be a long meme, but I just want to send that to people when I'm considering going to their event and then I change my mind. I love it.
There's one of me, I don't remember, I'm going like. And I don't remember what we were talking about or what we were doing.
That's all right. It
Mine
still
was
works.
the fan. It was my very first day on Drag Race ever. And it was, I believe it was Violet Chachki had done like that kimono that turned into like a red tartan like
For the fashion
jumpsuit.
Yeah.
And that is the definition of gagging, is what was happening there.
If you look it up on the dictionary.com, it will just be that
It's
image
that.
of you.
Yeah, no, I'm talking to the people at the dictionary right now.
So obviously the queens